Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Today I proudly present an in-depth review of the all-new 2020 Audi Q3. So, here's what the key looks like. It's a switchblade. You use that to lock the glove box. Other than that, it's keyless. Transmission is an 8-speed ZF automatic. And you do have sport mode. Tip it back. Now the display says S for sport. And then that's D for drive. Then manual. No paddle shifters on this model. I believe you can opt for them. Reverse camera with guidance lines as you turn the steering wheel. You can also change your view. Turn on the camera and whatnot. You can also turn the camera off. So here are the drive modes. It's got 5 different drive modes: off-road, comfort, automatic, dynamic, and individual. You can configure individual. For example, you can have a sport drive, which is basically your engine and transmission being tuned for sport, whereas steering can be light and comfortable, balanced, which is your normal mode, and then sport, nice and tight, good for the track. Most drivers will just leave it in comfort or automatic, and automatic will adapt to the road conditions and how you drive the car. Traction control off. If you push and hold, you can turn traction completely off. Auto start stop, toggle on and off. Hazards. Parking sensors. And then hill descent control. Parking brakes located right behind the gear shifter. Push down to release and pull up to apply. There's an LED on the parking brake switch, as well as an indicator that says park on the instrument cluster to let you know the parking brake is applied. All 4 windows are fully automatic. It does have heated mirrors, so if you turn this knob all the way down, that turns the heated mirrors on. Child locks. That's so that rear passengers can't get out. You have to open the door from the outside to let them out if that's enabled. Over on the left, we have the light controls, so it's a little different than a regular turn knob. You push the button to make a selection. If you do so much as put your finger over it, you can see which mode you're in. If I press it once, it turns the lights on manually. Again, for parking lights. And then again, to completely turn off the lights, including the daytime running lights. And then back to automatic mode. In automatic mode, if I push this forward, that turns on the high beam assist. And this setting is retained if you leave your lights in automatic mode at all times. And then here is your all-weather light. So let's go ahead and turn on the lights. And now I'm going to check out the exterior. I will also pop the hood. The engine is a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with a maximum horsepower output of 228. It's got LED headlights. That's standard. Along with automatic high beams controlled by that camera on the windshield. Side turn signal LEDs. It's got animated turn signals in the rear. It's got a power tailgate with a decent amount of trunk space for what you get, along with LED illumination. 2 options to close it. You can just close it, and then this button is to close and lock. Few other things to note about this headlight switch. So if you have the light switch in the off position or the parking lights position, the light switch automatically returns to the automatic mode when you exceed a certain speed. So I believe if your lights are turned off, you exceed 6 miles per hour, it goes back to auto. You exceed 20 miles per hour in parking lights, it goes back to auto. And above 20 miles per hour, you can only switch between auto and manual on. And as for leaving the lights on permanently, you can't do that anymore because it'll return to auto as soon as it can. Basically, what I mean by this is on previous Audis where you had the headlight dial, it was possible to leave the headlights switched permanently on, so you would never have to touch the switch again. But disadvantages of that are your headlights will wear out sooner, but unlikely if you have LEDs because they'll last the entire lifetime of the car, 50,000 hours of operating. And another disadvantage is automatic high beam assist. It only works in auto. You can't activate that with manual on. But one thing I did notice is if you have the manual headlights switched on, you switch off the ignition, it stays that way until you open the door. So if you switch the ignition back on, it'll retain that you've left the headlight setting on. But if you open the door, it goes back to auto. Or if you switch to another headlight setting, turning the ignition on makes it go back to auto. This space is blank because you can opt for rear fog lights, either that or you can't get them on this model. But if you were to get rear fog lights on an Audi, this is the button for that. And it would be labeled climate control, max defrost, recirculation, rear defrost, manual zones, so if you didn't want to use the automatic mode. And then we got wireless charging, tailgate control over here, cruise control. So this button is to set your speed, and this is to adjust. And then, so that's to turn it completely off. Now it's on. Cancel, resume. Now, I'm going to just show you some of the features. So date and time, your current audio settings, your phone, so you can connect your Bluetooth and whatnot, see the map. If you hit the view button, that lets you change, how you view the instrument cluster. It makes the gauges bigger. So if you want to see the map, press view. It shrinks the sizes of the speedometer and the tachometer. But if you want those big gauges, press it again, and there you go. Telephone controls, voice command, answer your phone, and then this button here is your seek, and that's your volume. Press into mute. And I believe that is a programmable button. And then as for the vehicle settings, that's navigation settings. If I go back home, you can see radio, media, phone, navigation, phone apps, vehicle settings, shortcuts, general settings, information, user settings, messages, weather, as well as news. So as for weather, you can load the forecast. It does take a while to load. Even have a 1-week forecast. You can also add new cities. And going back home, vehicle settings, Audi Drive Select. So that's the long way to get to the drive modes. A shortcut, just press the Drive Select button. Climate controls, auto recirculation, then lighting and visibility. So in the automatic headlight mode, you can turn the high beam assist feature completely off if you don't like it. But if you do like it, then just leave this switch turned on. All you have to do, push this forward as if you were going to turn on the high beams, and then it's on. Only works in automatic mode. And you can also change your sensitivity, entry and exit lighting, as well as your daytime running lights, which only work in the automatic mode. Rain sensor, so rain sensing wipers, that's for that, where it says auto. Otherwise it's intermittent if you turn that off. As for interior lighting, you can change the level of your cockpit lighting brightness as well as the door lighting brightness. Then parking assistance. Change your volume. Driver assistance systems. So, speed warning. You can turn the warning threshold up. Set it at 70, for example, or you can have it completely off. So that's more details about that. Traffic light information. Audi Presense. You can configure it further. Adjust the sensitivity. Same with the side assist. You can turn it completely off here as a shortcut, or you can configure it like this. And the lane departure warning. Steering wheel will vibrate when this is turned on to let you know that you're about to drift out of your lane. And settings and service. So, steering wheel button here, this can be configured. And it can be one of these many options here, one of these 6. Garage door opener, you will need to configure that first. Current voice guidance, switch to radio/other media settings such as Bluetooth, traffic reports, day and night map. So it automatically changes from day to night map if you switch the headlight mode. So, for example, if I turn the lights off, well, it was doing that. If I turn the headlights, well, you saw earlier in the video, when I turned the headlights on manually, it switched to the night setting. Switch to traffic reports. So, currently unavailable. But going back to that. Central locking. So, what this will do is when you unlock the driver's door with the keyless access or from the unlock button on the key, you can have it configured to only unlock the driver's door or all 4 doors at once. Long press to open windows, so self-explanatory. Press and hold unlock It opens the windows. Also a tone when locking, you can disable that. You can configure the garage door opener. See the vehicle information. Tire pressure monitoring. Service intervals. You can also reset your service if it is completed. Then wiper change position. If you turn that on, it puts them all the way forward so that it makes it easier to change your wiper blades. Turn it off, they go back down. Something I've never seen on a vehicle before. And general settings, date and time, subscriptions, speech dialogue, measurement units. So for example, you drive this in Canada, you can switch from miles to kilometers. It also changes how the speedometer looks. Information. You can grab updates for your software. Brightness settings, virtual cockpit settings. You can change the look of this. So it's currently in sport mode right now. If I change it to classic, now that's what it looks like. Now if I change it to dynamic, then that's what it looks like. A very track-focused theme. You can also configure it. Yeah, I think I'll leave it in dynamic, as well as Audi MMI. You can turn off the haptic feedback if you'd like. System maintenance, announcements and tone. You can turn the volume up and down, or you can turn it off. You can download map updates manually or automatically, as well as format system memory. And then over here, privacy settings, notification settings. You can change your language and keyboard settings, sound settings. This is only adjustable when the radio is turned on. Also your connected devices, so your Bluetooth devices, Wi-Fi, headsets, etc. As well as help. Alright. Well, that concludes this in-depth review, pretty much, of the new Audi Q3. So I shut the ignition off with the headlights on. Promised I would come back to this. Now, when I turn the ignition back on, see, it's currently in parking lights, but turn the lights back, or turn the ignition back on, the lights are in the manual on position, and I know that because if I put my finger on it, it says it's in manual on rather than auto, and it doesn't say auto in green, but if I do this and then open the door, now it's back to automatic mode. And when I turn the ignition on, there you go. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications, do what you do best, and peace out until next time.